everyone, welcome to Module 6, Week 6 of the class. Should be kind of a quick update video, but let's jump in and see what we're doing this week. This week is one of the more, we've had these couple of busier weeks because you see the midterm that's in there. Also, I've tossed in a case study, but don't freak out when you see all of this stuff. So the case study is not due until the Friday before the last day of the class. So that's not due until Module 8. Friday of Module 8 is when the case study is due. So you've got all of Module 6, all of Module 7, and even a little bit of, most of Module 8 to get the case study done. So you can just get a good look at it now and kind of just let it, massage into your brain and maybe start really working on it next week and the following week is maybe what you want to do with that. We do have our normal learning activity. We do have a midterm exam. So we have 2 midterms and a final in this course. Don't let that freak you out. I am going to give you another preview of the midterm so you get an idea of some of the questions, the flavor of the questions. They might even be the exact questions, just like I did before, where you got, I think, about a third of the midterm revealed. Same deal here. I may not reveal a full third of it, but we'll definitely sample some of the questions for you so you can get a flavor of that. We have a progress journal that's, of course, easy points for you as well. And then instructions for graduating students. Stay tuned on that. I don't know if we have, if some of you are graduating. When I mean graduating this spring, okay? If you're completely finishing whatever program you may be in, a lot of you are in the healthcare administration program. A lot of you are in the medical imaging program. We have folks from other programs in this course as well. If you are graduating and you're completing all of your program requirements this spring, then we will look at those instructions. I have to double check. I do believe grades might be due a little bit earlier for you if you are participating in commencement. Okay, so commencement is that ceremony, and I just found out that we are doing a physical commencement for spring, so that is exciting. Of course, a lot of COVID restrictions in there, et cetera, but this is our first physical as of right now. Knock on wood if I can find it. Okay, that is what they're saying right now, that we're going to do physical graduation. The registrar of the college is sending out that information, so stay tuned on that. Okay, if you are going, again, only for folks that are graduating this spring. To complicate this a tad, some of you may be graduating, okay, in the summer, completing all your coursework in the summer. But we do not have a commencement ceremony in the summer. So you may be participating in the commencement ceremony this spring, which you're invited to, but you're not graduating this spring. You're just going to kind of get the diploma. It's empty, take the pictures, all of that. I encourage you to do that, but this would not apply to you because you're technically not graduating, which means fulfilling all of your program requirements. So hopefully I didn't confuse the heck out of you. But if you are completing all of your program requirements this spring, you're going to be done forever in just a couple of weeks. Just double check the instructions that I'm going to put in there. Again, I got to find out when final grades are due. Sometimes final grades for graduating students are due earlier because of commencement. We like to have their final grades in so they can actually get their diploma. You don't have the final grades in, you don't technically know if they've passed. Okay, I've spent way too much time talking on that particular piece, and maybe nobody's even graduating this spring. All right, so case study, learning activity, midterm, progress journal, we've talked all about that. Great. All right, as promised, let's go in and let's take a look at the midterm. The level of difficulty, the type of questions, very similar to midterm number 1. I know a lot of you were not happy with the performance on midterm number 1. And let me just go back to our module again this week. I wouldn't let that destroy you, okay? Or actually, I wouldn't let that hurt your feelings at all if you weren't quite happy with your performance in that midterm. there are so many other points to gather along the way that as long as you're gathering all those points, you're going to have a solid A in the course, okay? But I know it's kind of freaky when you're like, oh my God, I got a B on it, or I got a C on the midterm. Again, look at everything inclusive in there. Now, again, with that being said, just reminded myself that this week I have another pretty substantial extra credit opportunity. So in our learning activity, which again, we're now just doing the downloads, so everybody's got the same questions. This week, let's pull it up real quick. This week, let's see here. Scroll down. This week, I've included a kind of a whopper. All right, a 15-point extra credit. Okay, so all you have to do this week is question 15.1, which goes back to the old textbook, but it's from our chapter 15. Whether you have 6th or 7th edition doesn't make a difference with that. So we've got one question, which is the written stuff, no math. And then we've got one problem this week. So yay, not as intensive. Usually you have 3 different things, probably one question and 2 problems. This week, just these 2. That's all you have to do. If you wish, I will include the what we'll call 15.8, this extra credit 15-point bonus question. So this one is a little bit beefier, okay? That's why I'm like, yeah, I probably should give you 15 points if you guys want to attempt this and you make a really good, strong attempt at that. Up to 15 points will be granted for that question. What I ask for you on this particular assignment, if you elect to do the bonus question, is that you complete that at the end of the module. Here is why. Because I will release the answer next week. And all the other extra credit, there is no answer released. So you can turn in that extra credit the last day of the course. I'm going to say this is the one extra credit, guys, that you have to turn in this week if you want it. All the other extra credit that's been sprinkled throughout the course, you can turn in on the very last day of the course. Okay, so there's that. So that's the only caveat there. But we've had like, I don't know, 2 or 3 other opportunities. I think there's a couple more, at least maybe one more coming up in these in module 7 and 8. So we could, again, plenty of points if you feel you need them to make up for maybe a poor performance on a midterm. Okay. But again, I'll just give this pitch real quick. Any missing assignments, please get those in. Okay. I mentioned this before. Yes, there's a little haircut. I like to call it a haircut on the points to be fair to those that people have turned it on time. But getting a 30 out of a 50 is better than a 0, and that often will preserve a letter grade. Okay. So, all right, I've talked about that a zillion times too. All right, as promised, let's take a little hint. Get your screenshot ready, whatever you want to do to copy these down, because let's face it, folks, they're going to be pretty much, you're looking at some questions that are going to be on the midterm. Again, give you a kind of flavor. It does pull them up randomly, so you may like, there's a bank of questions that are typically randomly drawn. I think I have a random draw on this. So you all have the same number of questions. The order may be, different than what you see here. So, but again, these questions should float up at some point in the midterm when you're taking it. All right, let's take a look. All right, let's hit the preview button. Again, you'll just get a good flavor here. 30 questions, just like last time. Okay. And again, I do have to go in and grade a couple of them, so you won't get your grade immediately on this, just like the last one. Okay, question number 1. No math, right? Love that. Which of the following statements about common stock is incorrect? Okay, screenshot that. You can get, there's 1 out of 30 you should be able to get just with a little research. Okay, question 2. Assume that U.S. Medware is a constant growth company whose dividends per share is $1. The expected dividend is expected to grow at a constant rate of 8% per year. Wow, that's pretty great. What is the stock's value if investors require a 15% return? You have all the info there to calculate, the expected stock value. Okay, that should be pretty easy to do. Here's another no math question. Which of the following statements about efficient markets is correct? Okay, so again, eliminate the incorrect ones, make sure what makes sense, the correct one, there you go. Of course, read all of the answers, because you never know. Who knows? Maybe all of them are correct. Double check here. Yes. Okay, maybe, yes. Yeah. Number 4. Assume that the risk-free rate, okay? Again, what is risk-free? That's a pretty great risk-free rate, by the way, 8%. Geez, I don't even know what the interest rates, just a little aside here. Interest rates, probably none of you are as old as me. So I guess I've lived as an adult through some interest rate fluctuations, and the interest rates like the past decade have been just crazy low. That's almost worries me a little bit, because it always seems, my theory is that there's always eventually an equal and opposite reaction at some point. And interest rates again have been just really, there's been cheap money out there. I mean, where you're getting mortgage, and it's a great time to get mortgages, get cars, any of these long-term purchases. It's, education debt. All of that is really good right now because the rates are, in my opinion, great. Yes, they've been lower at other points in the past, 5-10 years, but when you look at it just historically, now my parents in the early 80s, I mean, you were looking at double-digit mortgage rates. I mean, that's just unheard of. But anyhow, I digress. But anyhow, I would guess, I'd have to Google it, but I think the risk-free rate is probably like near zero at this point, like no interest at all on risk-free rate, or less than 1%, because rates are so low. All right, but we're just going with this question. Number 4, assume the risk-free rate is 8% and the required rate of return on the market, or an average risk stock, is 13%, and the required rate of return on Acme healthcare stock is 15. What is the implied beta coefficient? So we've got a beta coefficient question. Number 5. Which of the following methods for raising equity capital is unavailable to non or non-for-profit companies? Okay, so that just goes back to nonprofit structure and equity. Equity options available to various legal entities. Okay. So hopefully that one would make sense. I'll give you a couple more bonuses. I said I'd do about 5. I don't think I'm going to do 10, but we'll do 7. How about that? Which of the following methods are used for-profit businesses to raise common stock financing? Okay, you've got to look through all those. You can do whatever you need. This is open book, open note, guys. So hopefully you can get this one right. And then lastly, number 7, managers considered alternative investments should always accept the alternative with the highest expected rate of return. Huh. Always. I don't know. Expected high. Well, research that one and put your answer in there. All right, guys. There is 7 of the 30 questions this week. Okay, so they don't look too terribly difficult. I know there's some more mathy questions that are buried in there too, but Do like you've always done, like have those calculators ready if you need them. Again, the time has been very generous. I don't think anybody's in recent memory has complained on time with this particular series of our midterms, or really like tri-terms, if you will. So hopefully you have enough time to even, look up answers and Google some stuff. And right there, I just gave you 7 of them that you could be preloaded and ready to go and knock those out, boom, 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 as they come. So, all right. So that's pretty much for this week. Everybody have a fantastic week, and I will check in with you at the beginning of Module 7. Wow. All right. Have a great week. Bye.